Hi, I'm Danny Ramos, and welcome to this week's edition of Hispanic Speak Out TV, brought to you every week, every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. on Bright House Cable, through the courtesy of Bright House Cable. I don't know whether you have heard that we now have a Hispanic license plate in the state of Florida, which was passed by the state legislature last June. This Hispanic license plate is the commemorative plate to celebrate the 500-year anniversary of Hispanics in Florida. Yeah, that's right. Ponce de Leon arrived in Florida 500 years ago on the coast, on the east coast of Florida, and named the peninsula Florida, which means flowers. This plate commemorates that happening, and right on the plate it says since 1513, which means the Spanish language has been here 250 years before the Declaration of Independence. If you're Hispanic, orgullo de ser hispano, get the Hispanic license plate. This plate represents all of the Hispanics in the state, and 90% of the proceeds of this plate goes to Hispanic nonprofit organizations that service the community. Again, this plate is the Hispanic Achievers license plate, so look for it in your tag office when you renew. My name is Danny Ramos, and again, welcome to Hispanic Speak Out, and I'm here with a major political influencer in Orange County. His name is James Auffuant, and James is an attorney here. He's been here for 30 years, almost 30 years in Central Florida when all this was a big cow pasture. Probably one of the first Hispanic. You didn't come with Ponce de Leon, did you?
Almost. We were close friends. He left a couple of weeks before I did.
Okay. And he is the Orange County Committeeman for the Democratic Party. And one of the things that the political thing is getting really heated now with the budget crisis and with a lot of other things going on. And we wanted to get a take on different people's view of what is going on with the Hispanic community in Central Florida. So James is a guy in the know in Orange County and certainly around the state. He'll be headed for Washington. Probably when you see this broadcast, he will be in Washington discussing politics in the state of Florida, which I understand, James told me, without Florida you can't be president of the United States. And you need the Hispanic vote, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Anybody who knows anything about politics of Florida knows that North Florida is Republican, South Florida is Democrat. The way the I-5 corridor goes the state of Florida. And the biggest influential vote is the Hispanic vote in Orange, Seminole, and Osceola County. The way that vote goes is the way that the state goes. In 2008, it's what gave President Obama his victory. Few people know that he won in Orange County by 90,000 votes, of which 59% of all people registered to vote under Hispanic went out to vote. So it is immense, the amount of people that vote.
What is the breakdown? You know, Hispanics, like on the plate we have Hispanic Achievers, but the reality is Hispanics come from all different places.
But
what is the breakdown in Orange County as far as the Hispanic community goes?
According to the census, is 33% of the total population of Orange County is Hispanic, and strangely, believe it or not, it is the largest community because 32% is white, 18% is African American, and the other 10% is others, which include Asians and other denominations. So the largest group of people living in Orange County today is Hispanic. So it's no longer white. We have changed that face. But there's some other things that we need to realize. To register to vote, you only have to give your name, your address, and say if what race you want to belong to. And you really don't even have to say that. According to the Orange County Supervisor election, there's a 12% of the population that have no race. We don't know if they're black, we don't know if they're white, we don't know if they're Hispanic. They just put none, and they left it at that. As a matter of fact, believe it or not, there's a 6% of the registered voters in Orange County that don't have a sex either. So we don't know if they're female or male. We assume by names that they are, but if they're Pat or Renee, you know. We have a difficulty there figuring those ones out. But so it is an interesting thing. Then you have people like myself, that when I came here in '78, it was either you were black or you were white. There was no other group. There was no Hispanic. There was nothing else. So back then, I registered as white, and I had to change recently to be counted because prior to that, I was
your name. What is your name, though?
My name is French. From the capital of Puerto Rico, which is Ponce.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were born in Puerto Rico, then?
No, I was born in New York,
okay.
Raised in Puerto Rico. I'm the reverse.
Okay.
My parents went to vacation to New York. I was born there, and when I was 3 years old, I went to Puerto Rico. So when people talk to me about New York, I'm going like, no idea.
You have 33% of the population, 33% are Hispanic in Orange County?
Yes.
Okay. Out of what makes up that 33?
You mean
The breakdown.
The breakdown. 80% of that is Puerto Rican. The other 20% are others. Now, we know that those numbers are not exactly correct because we have a tendency to believe that the Mexicans in the area of Apopka and Winter Garden were very seriously under numbered, but that is something that happens at times. For some reason, there's a lot of Hispanics in Orange and county, especially West, that did not put down where they come from. So basically, we can't count them.
Out of the ones that did come, though, most of them are registered as Puerto Rican.
Most of them are.
And Puerto Ricans have been citizens of the United States since 1917, I think, right?
Correct.
And, well, most people don't know that because a lot of the general audience, and that's been one of my battles here, a lot of the general audience of the Anglo community think Puerto Ricans, they just got here, or Hispanics just got here. They don't realize that there are a lot of groups, that the Hispanic community is broken up into groups, into subgroups. So the Puerto Ricans have started coming here to the United States in the 50s.
Yes.
After Operation Bootstrap. And they comprise the largest portion of Hispanics in Central Florida. For example, in Osceola County, we'll be talking to somebody in a few minutes about that, but Osceola County is over 50% Hispanic now.
It is.
And do you think that wave is going to continue?
The wave is going to continue. People are going to come here. It offers everything that they want, they're looking for. Basically, you could come here, and some of us like to joke that Orange County is the 68th municipality of Puerto Rico, and Osceola County is the 69. So it's a matter of how you want to adopt it. Some say it's New York, and others say it's Connecticut, but the reality is that they're going to keep moving here because basically it's a place where you could bring and raise a family. It's a very nice community. It's where my daughters were born and raised. So it has everything that you're looking for and more. So why not come? The numbers will increase, and there's no way, I hate to say, there's no way of stopping us.
Well, what's wrong with that? Is there racial discrimination in the political parties, in the two major political parties, against Hispanics and or Puerto Ricans?
Yes. I would say the Republican Party, basically, the most, you could go to the right. Let's start with our governor. He made his campaign discrediting McCollum based on one issue that he really did not care about, which was immigration, and which we have nothing to say about, but he tried to call him soft on immigration. He made that. He tried to pass an Arizona law right now, which is anti-Hispanic. Basically, in the last campaign, McCain spent no money, and the media here in Central Florida, neither did Rick Scott spend any money in it, and basically it's an anti-Hispanic. My party, the Democratic Party, has for years taken us for granted. You're not going to go there, they don't like you, they don't want you, so you have to stay here.
Is taking for granted, obviously it's a racial issue if you're being taken for granted by a group.
Yes, it is a racial, and it's more of one, and my party is more of one of ignorance. They think that, why would you really think about being a Republican? Why would you even consider being a Republican when they have done nothing for you and everything against you? Now they're starting to realize they need us. And one of the reasons I'm going to Washington is because we're going to discuss the budget, how much is going to be spent in Central Florida to get the Hispanic vote, to get the Puerto Rican vote, and to secure the Puerto Rican vote, because it is something that without it, the president cannot win his re-election. I don't think that people understand how important we are. He did not go to Puerto Rico for Puerto Ricans. He went to Puerto Rico for Central Floridians. He is sending a message to us. I gave you Sonia Sotomayor, and I'm looking for your vote actively. What do I have to do?
Is the Puerto Rican community in Central Florida the tail wagging the dog within the Hispanic community? Again, let's go back to the Hispanic environment, okay? Puerto Ricans dominate 80% of the population, but are they really in charge?
Yes, and it's for different reasons that most people don't understand. You're right. We're U.S. citizens. I walk in there, I register to vote. You might have some legal residents here who are not U.S. citizens, and if you're not a U.S. citizen, you cannot vote. Okay, then you have others who are not exactly here with all their papers in order, so those cannot even get a driver's license, much less register to vote. So even though we count that population, when you go into what we call citizens of voting age, or we're almost 90% Puerto Rican, that's why they concentrate on us, because we can deliver. Plus, we have a tradition of voting. In Puerto Rico, they said that the largest sport is politics. I mean, politics is something that you live with 365 days of a year. You even have a
In Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico, you even have the number one pro in Puerto Rico is La Comay, and it's all about politics. There's nothing else. I mean, there is.
You're talking about a TV program, in
Yes.
case anybody doesn't know.
Yes, and it's all about politics. And right now, we have had both political parties approaching us. Pierluisi was here last Saturday. Garcia Padilla was here last Friday, seeking the Puerto Rican Democratic people to get the message to the president, because they cannot get it directly. They need to come through us. I don't think the Puerto Ricans understand. We have in our pocket the key. And to prove that we had the key, last year, a group of Puerto Ricans, about 100 of us, went to the White House and we demanded that Sonia Sotomayor be appointed. And it was not a hesitation of 30 seconds that the president said, fine. And, you know, you might dislike the president, you might criticize him for it, but he's the first president who's appointing a qualified Puerto Rican woman to the Supreme Court. Who was qualified under George W. Bush, who was recommended to George W. Bush, and twice he turned her down for 2 white males. So when you're talking about what has changed, is the posture that they realize that they need us. We're not in something that is cute. It's not something that I will like you. It's not something that I would like you to come and help me out. It's something that without us, they can't win. Simply put, politics 101.
Politics 101, which means that they don't really want us there. They need us to be there in order to win. That's
Definitely.
the bottom line.
Yeah, but at the same time, we get something out of it.
And when I say they, I mean both sides of the fence.
But yeah, honestly, I don't think the Republicans see it as it is. I think they still think that they can win with the white over 40 votes.
They don't have a lead horse in the race.
Well, yes.
Not yet. I mean, the Democrats have Obama, but who do the Republicans really have that has the stature at this particular point? Who do you think has the stature to really, really get in the horse race with Obama, unless Obama does something catastrophic?
Well, let me put it this way. None of the above.
Exactly.
None of them, and there I tend to agree. But at the same time, you have to understand one thing. Don't underestimate your opposition. A lot of Republicans kept telling me that Rick Scott did not have a chance, that he was no way he was going to get elected, that McCollum was solid, that everybody in the party was behind McCollum, that this guy did not have a chance. Surprise, we have Rick Scott as the governor. And sometimes money talks, and
there was a lot of fear in that campaign because of the immigration issue.
no, there was a lot of outspending. When you spend $73 million to buy all the media you can and get everything that you can,
That helps.
that helps a lot.
Yeah.
And then when you have a state that is already 38% Republican, that's going to vote for any Republican, no matter if he's been convicted
So
or
what
not.
you're saying is that you can buy the governorship in the state of Florida.
You just did.
Okay.
I hate to say it. In Politics 101, it was purchased. It was, I mean, these marketing people set out to do it, and they accomplished it. I mean, what did he have a background? No. Did everybody know that his problems with Medicare? Yes, everybody knew. Was that exploded? Yes. Did he campaign actively? No. Did you ever see him in a town hall? Did you ever see him doing any public media thing? No. He just bought media, and people just went out based on media.
Well, that says something about the voter too, doesn't it?
Definitely.
It says that the voter is an uneducated mass that doesn't do their homework, responsible citizenship.
Normally, that is a tragedy that occurs more often. It's like everybody wants to eliminate Congress, but their congressmen, and all the and all the senators are corrupt except theirs. And like, for example, they want all the bacon to be cut, but at the same time, they want to make sure that the Brevard County and NASA is funded to the max. But every other project should be cut off except NASA.
Theirs, except
exactly. And it's American.
Do you think that the system is morally and ethically deprived?
No, I think it is the citizens who have led it. Look, when you have a turnout of
That's
less
another way of saying yes, because you're saying you think that the citizens have allowed it to happen.
Oh, yes.
So you're saying that the system is deprived. It's ethically or morally corrupt.
The system for years has been controlled, manipulated. People are led to believe what are lies to be truth. Lately, they've been led to believe that teachers are the worst thing that could happen in this country, that unions are the worst thing that could happen in this country, that it's all fault of the illegal immigrants, why this country is corrupt, that we outspend ourselves, and not that realistically we've been cutting our income to the point that we really don't have any money right now, where you still are debating in this country that luxury jets should be exempt of paying taxes. And why are we even debating that? It's beyond my comprehension. That this state can make $500 million by taxing bottled water, but it won't be taxed because somebody bought them out. You know, that if you go to a basketball game and you sit downstairs, you pay taxes, but if you're in a luxury box, you don't pay taxes. If you want to fish in a lake, you pay taxes. If you want to fish outshore, you don't pay taxes. You know, it's just absurd. And people just need to realize that the problem is not them, it's that they need to pay attention to what their legislator is doing. Because these other people who are taking away your vote, taking away your rights.
That there are few people, the percentage of people that are really involved is very small.
Yes. I'm called a geek or a dog.
For those of you who are just tuning in, I want to present to you the Hispanic Achievers License Plate. This is the first Hispanic license plate in the nation. It was passed by the state legislature June 4th, and now it can be found in all tag offices. So if you're Hispanic, Orgullo de Ser Hispano, it celebrates the 500-year anniversary of the Spanish language being spoken in Florida. Ponce de Leon arrived on the shores of Florida in 1513. The plate commemorates that since 1513. And the Spanish language and Hispanics have been in Florida approximately 250 years before George Washington was born. This commemorates that 500-year anniversary. You can find it in all your tag offices. Be a proud Hispanic, and 90% of all the proceeds of this plate go to nonprofit organizations throughout the state. I'm here with, still here with Jimmy, and we're still discussing the politics. This moral issue, there's several things about the moral issue, and this is one thing that you know about, and I want to talk about too. I want to talk about people that put up money for politics, and those are called lobbyists. In other words, people who represent the interests of other people, and they go meet with elected officials and try to get their point of view across to elected officials. And a lot of times that involves money.
Correct.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about the system?
Well, look, let me give you a system of something that happened recently that most people do not know in the state of Florida. As you know, they tried to pass a similar Arizona law here, and basically what some of us did, we realized that we were going to get creamed. And
Are you talking about the immigration law?
The immigration law that they were trying to pass here in Florida, similar to the one from Arizona they were trying to pass here. And it was going very well until a point that some of us decided to approach a group of lobbyists, a very powerful group called the Florida Chamber of Commerce. And basically we got the people from the sugar, from the cows, from the agriculture, and everybody within that committee said, look, if this passes, it's going to cream you, it's going to make you people have to e-verify of these people, and you're going to lose your cheap labor. And basically what we did is that they went up to Tallahassee and basically went with the lobbyists, but they went in a different position. And this is how people need to understand politics. They said, we have helped you out, state representatives and state senators, we have given you money. If you vote for this law, the second time around, we're going to give you $0 for your campaign, and we might give money to your opposition, and basically kill the project by doing that. That's a way of lobbying. Sometimes they think that just by talking to people it would happen, but realistically in Tallahassee it's the money. Follow the money and you're going to find it.
Follow the money. Okay, let's follow it. How does that money transfer hands from a lobbyist to where?
Well,
how does that happen?
The lobbyist very simply says, if you help us out with this, we'll make sure for that. Well, per group, they could give you $500. Per person, they could give you $500. And then they could give money to your PACs, which is political action committees, which is unlimited after the Supreme Court decision. And basically, if you have a PAC that's going to campaign for you, then they could give them $5, $10, $15, $20, $30,000, $100,000, $1 million. There is no limit to that, and that PAC will help you get reelected or get anything that you want. So basically what they do is that they say, okay, the chamber will give you $500, and we would ask 25 of our members to give you $500. make the math. The chamber is very powerful. At the same time, if the chamber takes that consent from you saying you're no longer our candidate, this is our candidate, that tells members of the chamber this is who you vote for and this is who you give money to. So they have a power that a lot of people do not know. Look, you can't get elected without money, even though it sometimes happens. It really rarely does. So these people know who they have to vote for.
So it's a matter of how much money you got and how you place it.
Exactly. And you know, and you have to understand that the lobbyists go up there and they really push agendas that they basically want to buy, such as insurance companies will go up there, and they did it right now, and they lobbied and put a lot of money to make the laws unequal as to homeowners, and to make laws that are unequal to other things that favor them and favor the others. As a matter of fact, one of the probably most interesting laws was the bankruptcy reform of 2005, which was written by the American Bankers Association. It was not even written by Congress. They spread out the wealth among congressmen and senators. They went there, they voted for a project of law that 80% had never read. But they knew they had to keep the American Bankers Association happy, and that's how it happens. As long as politicians think the way they think, it's going to be a problem. But it's second to a larger problem that we have. We have to understand that we have been gerrymandered to the max, to the point that a representative or a state senator can say, I can ignore my constituency because my constituency, my district is built such a way that they will vote for anybody of this political party that is the candidate. So they have to maintain themselves as a political candidate, but otherwise than that, they can do whatever they want because they know they will be reelected. There's no way they can lose.
So politicians sometimes do go against their own constituents in favor of lobbyists?
Mostly they do. Yeah.
Mostly?
Mostly.
Okay, so what does that tell you about the system? I mean, how do you feel about that? You're a guy who's been in this system, I don't know how many decades, and you're an attorney.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel about the system?
Well, it makes me feel...
I know the practicality of it. I understand that. But
Yes.
what about the moral and ethical responsibility to the little guy?
Well, that's why I was such a pusher for the Constitution Amendments 5 and 6, because that means there will be compact. Look, let's take something that they've done to us that has had me furious for years. They have taken Orange and Osceola County, they have cracked it in 4, and give Orange County 4 congressmen, and sell the point out. You're better off having 4 congressmen than just having 1. They did 3 in Osceola County. But if you unite Orange and Osceola County, make it into 1 congressional district, represented, it will be 46% Hispanic, 54% Democrat, and basically would give us somebody who would have to look out for Orange and Osceola County, and then have to be part of the community, because if not, he or she will not be elected. As long as you can say, well, I can ignore Orange County because even if those 200 people vote against me, no big deal. I still have Marion County, that's how they've been able to maintain power. Look, if the districts stay the way they are, there's no way an Hispanic will get elected. It took Osceola County and Kissimmee to become 51% to get elected people, and still, if you take the redistricting of Osceola County, what they did is they packed everything into John Quiñones' district, put Kissimmee with Celebration to take away the Hispanic power, basically, and just have 1 powerful district out of 5. The other 4 basically will remain white. In a county that's 51% Hispanic. But you just by dividing the lines, you weaken us out. That is why we have to be very careful. That's why we have to be very cautious, and that's how we have to push that if we have to take them to court, we take them to court.
Who is going to be the first Hispanic congressman or woman
That's a good, interesting question.
in Central Florida? Who do you think? Let's throw out some names. From your political experience, who do you think would be qualified, not only qualified, but who do you think has the chutzpah, it's a Jewish word, to jump in and do it?
Qualifications, you have, in my opinion, Darren Soto, John Quiñones, Tico Perez. I'm not running, but I'm qualified. I don't want to brag, but yes, qualified. If you could put it that way, yes. Even though I'm not running, and people do not call me, I'm not running. But those 4 off the top of my head, I would say, are qualified today to run for Congress.
And what about the mayor of Orlando? Let's say Democrat and Republican, when Buddy Dyer is done, when he's had enough.
I would go back to Tico Perez.
Well, Tico ran. Do you think, and he's had some hard hits as a result, and he was Republican, right?
Yes.
Do you think the Republican Party would support him again?
They didn't the first time around, so why would they the second? But
I don't know.
no, but we're talking no more qualifications. Darren Soto is qualified, and he might run, and the Orange County Democratic Party will help him. How much it would help him financially is a good question, because their funds are limited, is what I'm trying to say. But yes, those two off the top of my head.
What about Tony Ortiz?
Tony Ortiz, I've talked to him about that.
Councilman.
The councilman, he has never expressed an interest in doing that, but he is qualified to do it, and he will be able to.
So what do we have? We have Tony Ortiz, Darren Soto, Tico Perez. Where's the women?
That's, I know it sounds bad, but realistically, the only woman elected that we have Hispanic right now is Wanda in Kissimmee. We don't have any, or anybody who has said, I'm interested in running. I mean, I'll be honest.
It has to be, you have to have some maturity there in order to run. There's a woman who worked in the Economic Development Office who has tremendous experience internationally, a businesswoman. I don't recall her name, but unfortunately it just popped into my head, her as a potential candidate.
I know various females who will be qualified, but I've talked to them, and they don't want to get involved in politics.
I don't blame her.
And neither do I.
Look what happened to Mildred Fernandez.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
It's going to be an interesting trial. It's going to be one that is going to have consequences that most people do not know. It's going to be...
What are some of those consequences when you say most people don't know?
Well, like, for example, people do not know that Louis Diamani was appointed by Charlie Crist in between the time that Mildred is either, if she's acquitted, she comes back. If she's found guilty, then instead of being suspended, she is removed from office, and then Mr. Scott has the right to appoint somebody else. So one way or the other, Louis Diamani is out. Most people think, oh, well, but she's found guilty, Louis Diamani stays in office. No, he doesn't. Unless Rick Scott appoints him, and I'm not sure if that would happen. I don't know, Mr. Scott.
Is she guilty, in your opinion? And you know enough to get an idea.
I don't think Mildred is guilty of
Do you know her personally?
Oh, I've known Mildred for years, and I have advised her many times of what to do politically. Even though she's a Republican, I'm a Democrat. We're still both Puerto Ricans. We're both Hispanic, and by the grace of God, I'm Puerto Rican, and then I'm a Democrat by choice. I have no choice about being Puerto Rican. I thank God every morning that I am Puerto Rican. He gave me a great nationality, so I have no complaints. But Mildred and I have known her for years. My opinion about
Mildred. So you think it's entrapment?
I think it's more of an act of stupidity.
On whose part?
On both parts.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we talk too much to brag.
Yeah.
And
do you think Siegel was behind it? His campaign manager met with prosecutors during the campaign before she was charged.
Was his campaign manager involved with it? Maybe. I've heard that rumor. Can I say 100% that it was? No. It's something that you hear on the street. I've never confronted him with it. I've never confronted Lawson Lamar with it. I've never confronted anybody, but I keep hearing that rumor. But that doesn't, if there's one thing I've learned as an attorney, I don't fall into rumors. I fall into facts. And fact is, I don't know. But I think it's going to be an interesting trial, because realistically, I would like to see the reaction of the community with the decision one way or the other, how they're going to react to it, and how they're going to react to who's going to be appointed to replace her, or if she's coming back. Because if she's found not guilty...
Do you think she'll be back?
No, she is back by law. There is no question. If she's found not guilty, she'll be back in office. And
she will?
Oh, yeah. She'll be serving the rest of her term.
Thanks, Jimmy. Again, thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you again when you get back from Washington. This is Danny Ramos on Hispanic Speak Out TV. Don't forget, when you go to the DMV, look for your Hispanic plate. Be a proud Hispanic, and this plate proceeds go to all the nonprofit organizations in the state. We'll see you next week.